Let me bring in the Federal Resources Minister, Keith Pitt. Now, Keith, I want to talk to you about other issues, but an Indigenous voice. Surely this country can allow Indigenous people to advise the government on issues and policies specifically directed at them.
Chris, I believe success is earned and I support success. And I think if that was put to the Australian people right now, I'm not sure that it would be supported. So I think there's a lot of work to do there yet. I'm happy to be involved.
Well, it wouldn't get support right now because there's too much political division around it. But if there's a program there and if people argue the case, it's possible. Anyway, there's no proposal for a referendum now. Your government is talking about legislating it. Do you think that that is something that should be done before the next election?
Oh, well, obviously, Ken White and others are working their way through that process. Not in the cabinet anymore, Chris, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening at the big table. But look, it's an important issue and we'll continue to work through it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem being out of cabinet, isn't it? Is that a blow to the resources sector and to the broader energy sector in this country?
Chris, I'm not going to tell you I'm not disappointed. I am, but they're decisions of the leader. My job is to continue doing what I do day in, day out. That's supporting the sector and the over 1.2 million Australians directly and indirectly employed. They've been incredibly successful and I want them to continue that success.
All right, well, I want to come to nuclear in a moment, but before I do, there's a fresh talk now of domestic caps on exports of gas and domestic reserves of gas. Are you looking at going down that path? That was talked about even under Malcolm Turnbull's prime ministership, I recall.
Oh, there's some chickens coming home to roost here, Chris. I mean, when you've got states like Victoria that had a moratorium on gas exploration, well, it's no surprise to me that now there's a shortage on gas in Victoria when you have some challenges. I mean, there's a combination of fairly unique circumstances in Victoria. Longford's exports are down. Usually Victoria's a net exporter. You've got a depletion in the Bass Strait, and you've got people like the opposition who continue to oppose exploration. There's no gas unless there's exploration and investment.
All right, now let's talk about nuclear. You've been pretty forward-leaning on that, especially before you went into cabinet. Obviously, you're still in the ministry, but do you think it's time that we at least get rid of the legislative impediments, state and federal, against the nuclear industry? Surely coalition governments could at least get rid of those laws so that there is the opportunity for proposals to come forward should they arise.
Well, those moratoriums are currently in place, and I can't see that changing unless Anthony Albanese has an epiphany. I mean, he secretly visited a coal mine the last couple of days, which was a surprise. You never know what might happen. But I don't think we should rule out the ability for Australia to start to build some technical capacity, regardless of the moratorium. Our people are as smart as anyone else's. We should start building that through our universities and elsewhere. So in the future, we can be exporting those technical and technological pieces right around the world. And it's another addition to our economy.
In a zero greenhouse gas emissions world, surely nuclear will see a renaissance. There's even a lot of talk about that in environmental circles around the world now. So surely a government like yours needs to start that debate, starts pushing at the barriers, because by any stretch it's going to be decades before you can actually get anything happening.
Well, look at what's happening in Victoria right now. It's cold, it's been calm, been cloudy, and of course you've had to divert gas into electricity generation. There's been challenges with coal-fired power stations, and lo and behold, the gas price went up because there was a shortfall. Nuclear is a zero-emission technology. It's used around the world, but the moratorium is still in place. I can't see that changing unless the opposition come on board. We're only a few months out, Chris, but as I said, I just think there's an opportunity for Australia to have a conversation with its people and continue to drive a new part of the economy. We're just as good as anyone else around the world, and we can export that just as well.
Are you distressed by this Sydney lockdown? Don't you think it's time, with all of the people in our aged care facilities vaccinated, with 73% or more of people over 70 having their first jab, that we should be able to deal with this virus in the community?
Well, the sooner we get a larger amount of the population vaccinated, the sooner we can get away from lockdowns. I mean, Gladys is in a difficult position, but she's done an incredibly good job so far. She genuinely has. I see WA is now talking about locking out New South Wales for some weeks or months. But this just can't go on. So we need people to line up, step up, get the vaccine done. I've had my first shot. I'm sure you're probably in there as well, Chris. We're in one of those age demographics. This is about the Australian people getting down to their GP, to a vaccination clinic, taking their booking, getting the vaccination done, and let's just get on with running the economy and doing what Australia's great at, and that's being the best country in the world.
Thanks for joining us, Keith. Appreciate it.
It's great to be with you.
Keith Pitt there, live via Skype.